Welcome to another edition of Cosmetic Corner. This is ASJ's segment designed to critically analyze an article in each issue of ASJ, and our objective is to utilize experts in the field and help us really evaluate and really extract the key practice changers from these peer-reviewed works. Today we are very fortunate to be joined by Dr. Michael Edwards as our expert discussant. Among many things, Dr. Edwards is a former past president of ASAPS and part of a very busy cosmetic surgery practice in Las Vegas. We're very honored to have you. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Edwards.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So we're here today to discuss a very thought-provoking article out of UT Southwestern. The title is Bra Sizing and the Plastic Surgery Herd Effect. I commend the authors for a very interesting article on a highly relevant topic. The goal of this study was to compare traditional bra sizing technique to 3D simulation in regards to accuracy both in patient education and preoperative bra sizing and implant estimation. Although it was a somewhat limited sample size, the study was very well done and the data was quite convincing. And it really suggested that our conservative or traditional preoperative bra sizing can overestimate up to 20% in volume, and that the implants, when placed in the bra, kind of displaced volume superiorly, producing some too much upper pole fullness and maybe some inaccuracy in portrayal of the lower pole. So Dr. Edwards, let's go ahead and jump in and talk about some components of this article.
Okay.
They talk about how 74% of plastic surgeons use preoperative bra stuffing of some design, and they claim that this is relatively an unvalidated tool, at least scientifically, but obviously easy to perform and has been done for quite some time. They quote a study by Dr. Hidalgo that showed about 30% of patients felt like they had significant discrepancies with their overall result when they went through the typical bra stuffing process. Can you tell us about your approach to bra sizing discussion and implant estimation in your patients?
Sure. Well, first off, I want to commend Bill. Bill Adams is, without a doubt, a thinker, someone who's contributed a lot to both the young and the seasoned plastic surgeons. So again, I'll commend him on the paper. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for about 21 years, and from the day I finished training, I've done bra stuffing. Kind of interesting title, but I've collected over the course of time a full complement. I prefer Allergan implants. Everyone has their own style, but I have a full complement of implants that I can literally use to do the bra stuffing or implant sizing.
Okay.
So, I follow again, going back to Tebbets and to what Bill has followed on with. It's so critically important that when you evaluate somebody for breast surgery, that you measure them. You talk to them, you measure them. It's amazing to me that I meet patients that come in for a consultation and have never had a measurement. They've seen 4 or 5 other doctors, and they haven't even talked about it. So I think that's critical. More importantly, the base width.
Yeah.
From that base width, I then go and look in the catalog, getting a feel for what they're trying to achieve, and then pick implants and let them place the implants in a bra. In fairness, I'll say that we do have, in my practice, we have not one, but we have 2 Vectras. And I use them, but I'll bet you I would use them probably 30% of the time. So anyway, I don't want to ramble, but in my practice, I take measurements. I choose an implant based upon the patient's base width and their volume desire, and then let them try the implants on. In fact, in my career of the thousands of breast augmentations I've done, I've never done a breast augmentation based upon a Vectra alone or a 3D image alone.
Okay. Now, when you have them pick out the implants, are you giving them a couple sizes, or do you do dimensional planning and say, this is the size that I want you to try first?
Right. Yeah, very important question because, it depends on where you are geographically. In Las Vegas, and women like a fuller implant. My average implant size is about 450 cc's, which is large compared to most.
Right.
And so what I choose to do, it's rare that I use a lower profile implant, but more commonly I let them choose between a moderate, a high, and just pardon the generic term, a full projecting implant, kind of like an Allergan Style 45.
Okay.
So I let them have the option to see, and very clearly it starts from the outset that the only promise I tell them that I can make them is that they cannot be bigger than what they see, and in fact they will be smaller, but I can't give them, I'll probably quote Bill's paper now, but
yeah.
What does 20% mean when it comes to looking at yourself in the mirror with with an implant in your bra, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, when they said that they are looking at the 3D camera and that, patients are looking at sizers, they feel as if they can give them this better view of the actual lower and upper pole, lower pole symmetry and upper pole fullness. Do you discuss with them a little bit about, obviously, okay, it looks like we're going to do a larger field power, we're going to be looking a little more upper pole fullness, but we want to kind of round out the lower pole in your case based on maybe a little bit level of ptosis or non-ptosis. How do you kind of approach that semantical portion of the consult?
Well, again, I think that the points that Bill made are very valid in his study, and I guess that I'll wrap that into my conversation. But I ask every patient that I see and treat and operate up until they're 1 year post-op, and then I see them annually after that. My door is always open. I ask them if they're happy with their size. And I'll be honest with you, and I try to seek out to find out, and the grand majority of them are comfortable and happy with their results. I would tell you that I have well less than 1% of patients that come in and say that they wish that they had gone bigger, and probably close to the same number that say that they wish that they had gone smaller. So I think, although it's interesting to look at on a computer screen a 2D image, and whether you rotate it around or not, and show someone what they may look like, it is helpful. And I do include that in my TouchMD presentation to the patient. It gets saved in their gallery. They can pull it back up and look at it from home.
Yeah.
But I also have my staff take pictures of the patients with the implants in the bra, and that goes into their TouchMD gallery as well. So they have those images to look at. They have the Vectra images to look at, their pre-op images. But I personally think that it helps by having the person or the patient have a tactile feel and look of what they have. Looking at it on a screen, looking at something, it's not the same as reaching down and feeling implants in your bra.
Right.
Now, does it get them excited? Sure. And could you look at that and say it's a marketing tool? Sure, you could. But I feel very comfortable that it gives them a good idea of what to expect from surgery.
Now, what advice could you give the young surgeon who gets that patient who comes in afterwards and says, you know what, you were way off. I don't like the sizing. The difficult patient's always the question. How do you go about managing that in the cosmetic population?
Well, I would say to them that they need to spend more time with the patient preoperatively. That's probably the most important thing to do. Don't try to rush through a consultation. Spend the time talking to patients and get them to buy into the implant size that you pick. Whether you choose to have them put the implants in the bra, I realize that the young plastic surgeon isn't going to come out and be able to have a full cachet of implants.
Yeah.
And perhaps this is even more important, whether they use the Chrysalix or whether they use Vectra or some other 3D system, they need to find out and embrace a system that works for them. Like I say, for me, early on I started using the sizing techniques well before I had Vectra, and have used it well. But I'll emphasize again, I think that for the young plastic surgeons, examine your patients, take measurements, take pictures at that first visit, and then sit down and go over with the patient what they're trying to achieve. Because it's much easier to have that discussion pre-operatively than post-operatively. Because the younger plastic surgeon's thinking, oh my gosh, if I have to take them back, who's going to pay for OR? Who's going to pay for anesthesia? Who's going to pay for the new implants?
Right.
So it's much, much better to have that conversation ahead of time.
Now, you did mention you had 2 Vectra systems in your office, and you said there's a percentage of time where you do use it. What patient might be the patient you say, okay, I'm going to shoot some 3D photos here?
Right. Well, I'm actually on the Canfield Advisory Board, and I really enjoy the product. I haven't yet found it to be helpful for lift dogs. I do probably 40% of my practice is lift dogs. Basically, 100% of my practice is breast.
Right.
My partners do facial and more of the body surgery. But I think for someone who's got a pretty small breast with no ptosis, I think they're ideal candidates, and I think the folks that have Vectra would agree, or Chrysalix or whatever they use.
Yeah.
Those are ideal ones because that's what's going to give you the best result. But you still have to fuss. You still have to look and place your landmarks in the right place.
Right. You
still have to see if you need to drop the implants just a little bit because that's what you're hoping to do. So you can't just take what Vectra gives you. You've got to learn to manipulate it and play with it. So again, it's not a matter of time because my AUG consults are at least an hour long, sometimes longer. And so I'm not trying to rush anybody. So if I think they're a good Vectra candidate, we'll shoot those and use it as part of the visit.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Edwards, thank you so much for joining us. It was a great discussion, great conversation. And for those of you who've been following Cosmetic Corner, we'll look forward to meeting with you guys next month. All right.
Thanks, Chris. Hope it was helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye now.
You bet. Bye-bye.